So we are going to decide this series, this fresh best of 3. Meanwhile, I just got updated. Vindicta did 3-1 Ryan. So Vindicta has qualified for the main event. Ryan has been knocked down to the lower bracket, and now Ryan will be going up against Mac in a PvP. In a best of 5 qualifying match. I would love to follow that PvP, but at the same time, these two players, they don't have any casters, and I feel like I feel like it'd be a little bit disrespectful if I did kind of jump to another series. So, we're here. We are here, and we will find out which one of these players gets eliminated and which one will move on to a qualifying match. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Romanticide ALE, we have the American Zerg player representing his brand new team, Apprentice Esports. It is Antis. Let's go. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Romanticide ALE, we have the American Terran. We know him, we love him, representing License to Kill. It is Eurystheus. Oh my god, we have a pool first opening. Okay, let's just go. We're committed. We're doing this. As much as I would love to cast Mac, and that was one of the big reasons why I wanted to dive into the North American broadcast. I'm sure Rotterdam will do him justice. I'm sure Rotterdam, especially as a Protoss player, he will be able to deliver the best cast he can to Mac versus Ryan. Exclamation mark Funada Rotterdam if he doesn't know anything about the players, and if he's go on Rotterdam, I believe in you. I believe. So if you want to tune into Mac, that's going to be over on his channel. I imagine he's going to be casting that series. He better be. I swear to God, if no one is casting Mac and Ryan, hell will be raised, right? Messages will be sent. But I am here with this TVZ. Beautiful, mate, beautiful. Antis, he's a player who I'm not too familiar with. Obviously, I know him by name, but he isn't necessarily as active as Eurystheus. Eurystheus, time and time again, he'd be there for NA Apprentice, not just NA Apprentice, but also every week for Battle of the Americas. He'd be there representing that flag, the American flag, as best he can. Meanwhile, Antis, not as much, a little bit less active when it comes to the online weekly scene, but he is still here, and he's still one of the best Zerg players in all of America, so we'll see how he does. With that pool first, he does send a couple of links across the map, looking to try and delay the natural base. Unfortunately, the Reaper misses completely, and we do have a delay here. The SCV will go down, CC will not be finished, and this Marine almost falls as well. Oh, the micro, oh, the Marine goes down! But the CC will eventually finish. Honestly, well worth of a start here for Antis. Well worth that that pool first to delay that CC. And also Funado Eurystheus, even though he did go for a bit of a scout earlier on, he didn't stay back home with his Reaper. He could have again avoided all of this. Unfortunately, he did not. So a very nice start here for Antis, you know, delays the CC, gets his third up and running, getting his gases up, prioritizing his queens. Very nice start. Also, a very peculiar third base. Not at the typical triangular third location, so this is so much more aggressive. We'll see if Antis is going to use that. Is he going to throw down a Roach Warren and go for like some kind of Roach all-in from here? Honestly, I wouldn't be opposed to that on Romanticide if he doesn't want the game to go on too much longer. Oh my god! Eurystheus, please! Antis is the one who's meant to be fatigued. He was just in a 50-minute game versus a Protoss player, and it was awful. It was disgusting. It was like I worry for Antis' mental health after that series. But Eurystheus, unfortunately, left his Reaper idle, and Antis shuts it down. Ay. Jesus Christ. Meanwhile, we of course do have Eurystheus with his third CC. Again, 1-1 into a third CC. Pretty standard opener. What's maybe not so standard is that he didn't go for the switch with his add-ons, so he is prioritizing Stim for that bio push, not looking to try and harass with, say, some Banshees or a BC. So keeping things simple here, Eurystheus is for some bio, going for a Liberator as well. You love it to see it. With this, he can be active with his Hellions, try and distract these queens, and then the Liberator can sneak into a mineral line. Or the opposite, the Liberator sneaks into a mineral line, forces the queens to respond, and then the Hellions get into their own line and roast up some drones. A lot of potential here for damage. Potential though, again, it's all on Antis and how he will respond. Oh, meanwhile, I was just looking at the chat during the break, and Funada ARJ Skater, excuse me, I am not 28, thank you very much. Who do I look like? Milk? Milk is 28. Well, actually, I think he's a little bit older. But no, I think 28. No, I am 26. I'm still, I'm still kind of young, you know, I got a couple of years left in me. Only a couple though. Once you hit 30, it's all downhill from there, mate. F's in the chat. Oh god. But yeah, here we go. Vikings going across the map, just quickly checking the vision here. Liberator does siege up in the main base, gonna get a couple of drone kills. Just realizing, oh, we do have game heart, and 3 drones go down at the same time. Hellions don't do anything, they're just chilling at home. Shaking my head. I was hoping they would maybe dip in, you know, maybe get some link kills, maybe at least stifle this creep. But no, unfortunately, they are at home. They're a little bit too scared of potentially being surrounded. Don't want to lose that map control too early. And he stays at that third, which is understandable. Obviously, the purpose of this is he's going to be here for a link run by. But more importantly, like, again, just in case he's afraid of being taken advantage of, he's going to be able to keep these Hellions alive to morph them into Hellbats, because an armory is on the way. 1-1 is on the way. Eventually, Eurystheus is going to be able to hit a timing, not just with his upgrades, but also with Hellbats. And that is going to be very difficult for the Zerg player to deal with. Meanwhile, there it is, Amasado! Welcome, Brasileiros to the stream. Brasileños even. Brazilians, that's what I meant to say. Hope you're all having a good time as we're finally back into the stream, back to casting. Oh god, thank god. Like, the worst part about like casting an event is downtime. It doesn't happen too often, but when it does happen, it's like you lose momentum, and then like fatigue and your sleep deprivation begins to kick in, and then suddenly like you're passing out. So yeah, the best thing that we can have here is just non-stop StarCraft. Speaking of non-stop StarCraft, we were just talking about it. 1-1-1 just finished up. We have the Hellbats reinforcing all of these Marines. The creep spread has much to be desired as well. A lot of this will be cleaned up, but we do have a lot of Banelings waiting up here on top of the ramp. Eurystheus, mate, you gotta be careful. You gotta split, puppy, and you also need your Marines to be a little bit more forward. But mate, where's the DPS? We do have one tank behind all of this. There we go, Eurystheus. He controls his army. He's pushing up the ramp. He's ready to go. And so far, Antis is being very patient, setting up a bit of a surround with his Lings and his Banes. His Queens are doing a very good job holding the line for now. Honestly, this area is a little bit vulnerable because the Banelings are all on the left-hand side. Unfortunately, Eurystheus has no idea. Now he's pulling the trigger. Antis with the full surround. Eurystheus, split, puppy, split! Split! No, there's no splits! Oh my god! Eurystheus, his entire army gets swallowed up by the Zerg. Ay, ay, ay. And just like that, Antis, he holds onto his 4th base. He gets a 5th behind it as well, because why the hell not? His upgrades are on the way. His hive is on the way. He is sitting back perfectly fine. Ah, feels bad, man. This is like the one time you don't look at your army, and that is when Antis strikes. Feels bad. Like, I'm a Zerg player, but I do feel bad for the Terran there. Oh god. That was a lot of supply, and now Antis, he's ahead in the army. He's ahead in the economy. He is up maybe too many drones. 98, about to have... He's about to hit 100 drones, mate. He's got a macro hatch. He's ready to just Ling Bane it up. And you may be wondering, hold on, something's missing. You know, it's just been Ling Bane. Where are the mutas? Where are the Hydras? Mate, Antis is playing just like #dark, going full Ling Bane, nothing but Ling Bane, until you get a hive, and then you go straight into Ultras. This is obviously a very risky move. In doing this, you do give up air superiority, and it's difficult to deal with these drops, but unfortunately, it's been 10 minutes, and only just now are we getting drops. Like, this is something that should have been taken advantage of earlier. because there are no mutas, because there are no hydras. Unfortunately, enough time has passed where the hive is done. The goal of Antis was to defend, survive, until he gets the hive. And now that he's got the hive, mate, once the ultras come out, he is going to be pushing out across the map. And I don't know if Eurystheus has an answer to that. Oh my god. 3-3 is on the way. That's something that I will say is that Eurystheus has been very on top of his upgrades, and they will definitely impact this game. But his army composition is still bio-tank. He's trying to mix in Widow Mines, which is okay, but mate, you need Liberators or Ghosts or more tanks if you really want to go toe-to-toe with Ultras. And look at this. Oh my god, Eurystheus, he's getting ready for it. We do have a bit of a drop here towards the north and the south. Ooh, a full medevac gets picked off by the spores though. Aye, aye, aye. Meanwhile, Lingbane is looking to try and deal with this drop. And these Lings should be dealing with these rocks. Oh my god, he's actually going for it. He's pulling the trigger. The mines are not buried. Mines, please. Ay, 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 it's a little bit too late. Everything gets taken out. The mineral line, the army once again, finally some Widowmine shots go off. At the same time, some Lings were kind of split off here, headed towards that third base. Everything is falling. We do have a drop to the south, and a base does get picked off, at least. But Antis is just having his way with Eurystheus right now. Like, the Ling Bane is just too much. Let's not even talk about the Ultras, which are on the way. They haven't even come into play, mate, and, like, it's overkill. So here we go, the very first Ultra about to pop out, and Eurystheus, he's down 80 supply. His economy is crippled. He's on 2 1/3 base economy at this point. Antis double expanding. He did lose 2 bases, to be fair, but he didn't lose a lot of workers. And oh god, here come the pushes. The Ultra leading the charge. Very good Widowmine shots, but it doesn't matter, mate. It just doesn't matter. As the planetary goes down, Eurystheus, he's knocked down to 3 bases. The Ling Bane, the Ultras are coming in. Marauders are going to make short work of that Ultra. But, again, does it even matter? Oh god, the Widow Mines are about to reset. It's going to reset, it's going to reset! Does connect once again, but the Ling Bane is flooding through! The wall is no longer a wall. And now, more Ultras are on the way. We have Aspire, we have Vipers. Antis, he is sitting back pretty. How can Eurystheus come back from here? Drops? I feel like drops would be a good way, you know. He does have a lot of medevacs. He has an army to speak of, but oh my god, Antis is just relentless with his counterattacks. He just doesn't stop. He just keeps on going. And at a certain point, it is a numbers game. At a certain point, Eurystheus is just too much. GG gets called, and Antis takes game number 1. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. Antis takes the first game in the series, and I should probably show it here. Boom. There we go. And now he needs one more. Uno más. Un momento even. To go to a qualifying match. Meanwhile, Eurystheus, mate, he's gotta tighten some things up here. There were more than a couple of times. It happened with the Reaper. It happened with his main push in the middle of the map with 1-1. And it happened towards the end at his 4th base with his Widow Mines, where his attention was being split elsewhere than where it needed to be. There were a lot of moments that he was being caught off guard time and time and time again. So hopefully he can pull it back a little bit here. Or come at this with a different strategy. Oh my god, mate, it was worth it. It was completely worth it, because game 2, it's crazy, it's insane. It's gonna be on Beckett Industries. Oh my god. Oh my god. Beautiful, mate, beautiful. This is what we wanted. This is what we all wanted, mate. He tries Rainer style. Yo, Funada Slowy Run in the chats. This was coined 2 years ago, mate. Just Ling Bane into ultras. But that is something that is very easy, or much easier to pull off in a large map like Romanticide, but now we are here in a completely different map. We are here on Beckett Industries. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Beckett Industries LE, we have the blue Zerg player representing Apprentice Esports. It is Antis. And spawning in the top right hand corner of Beckett Industries LE, we have the American Terran player. He is red, representing Team License to Kill. Currently down in this series, but can definitely pull some things off here on this map. It is Eurystheus. And Antis goes for a pull first. Oh my god. Okay. Here we go. I'm excited. I'm ready for this. So, we do have a pull first opening from Antis, which honestly makes a lot of sense here. He's playing this safe and secure. He did the very same thing on Romanticide, so going for the same opener. Meanwhile, Eurystheus hasn't done anything too crazy yet, but we're on Beckett Industries. The biggest thing about this, obviously, the speed zones, obviously, the short rush distance. Because of that, Terran are pretty favored on a map like this, on a map like Beckett. Like, biotank pushes can hit so hard, can hit so fast. You can siege up here on the low ground as well, siege on top of the high ground. There's just so much that you can pull off. I'm not saying that it's unwinnable for Zerg by any means, just some advantages of certain play styles. Because of that, we could also see some roach play from Antis. It's why roach play is a little bit more popular in this matchup on maps like Blackburn, for example, or Lightshade. So we shall see what Antis has to offer here. Going Lingbane into Ultra, I don't think is possible on this map, actually. I think I'll go that far. It's just so much more difficult to pull off. You're really just hurting yourself there in that scenario. But we'll see. If Antis decides to go for Roaches, if he decides to go for Mutas instead, or even slow things down, go Lingbane Hydra into Lurkers, is definitely an option. Meanwhile, Eurystheus is going across the map with his initial Reaper. Fun fact, even though Antis did go for a pull first, he actually did not send his Lings across the map. He kept them all at home. Again, fearing for a proxy. Just playing things safe, prioritizing his queens, getting them out a little bit earlier, a little bit safer, a little bit more secure. Beautiful. Beautiful. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, we do have a 1-1-1 from Eurystheus. Is he going to go for the switch, or is he going to prioritize Stim again? Honestly, that build that we saw on Romanticide, the bio push with Hellbats and 1-1, I wouldn't mind seeing something similar here on Beckett. Not gonna lie. But, ooh, that is not what we're going to be seeing. As we do see a switch, we are not going to see a prioritization of Stim. Instead, the Skyport will be landing on the Tech Lab, and we will be seeing Banshees. Let's go. Meanwhile, we were talking about it. Maps like Blackburn and Lightshade, we see more often than not roaches. And the same can be said to Beckett Industries as a roach warren is thrown down. Again, very, very adaptive to the map, Antis seems to be. Like, yo, you got some advantages on this map. Go for it, mate. Why not make use of it? Why try and make your life harder by trying to go, nothing but Lingbane? So yeah, what's important is that so far this has been unscattered, but the Hellions are going to dip into the natural, and ooh, they do not see it! Oh my god. How? The Lings were there in time to zone out those Hellions, so unfortunately Eurystheus does not spot the Roach Warren. He has no idea what is coming his way. Thankfully, he did open up 1-1-1, and Banshees are what you want against Roaches. So, phew. Eurystheus may be anticipating this style, just kind of, I guess, factoring it in when it comes to his opener, and as a result, going to be in a decent position. As the first Banshee is now across the map, Spore Crawler isn't done yet, so the Banshee can deal some damage, but do have the Queens meeting up, and Cloak only just now finished up, just in time for those spores. So the first Banshee doesn't achieve too much, but I believe we have a second Banshee on the way. Yes, we do. So with two Banshees, it doesn't matter if there's a Spore, you can one-shot workers, you can still deal a lot of economic damage, and even harass some of the Queens. Speaking of harassing Queens, Hellions show up. Yo, oh god, they want to slip in, Oh, and they do not manage to. I don't think the roaches were revealed. Hellions were not close enough. Oh, but it looks like the Banshees are going to dip in, and he will... He will confirm the roaches of Antis. Nicely done. Now Eurystheus is aware, and now he can prepare. Should be seeing some more tank production, more bio, setting up some bunkers at his third once he does take it. Meanwhile, +1 is on the way alongside Glial Reconstitution. Even a second Evo. Oh god, meanwhile, ooh, clutch transfuse. Antis just barely holding on there, forcing the Banshees back. Beautifully done. Beautiful, mate. Beautiful. Oh god. Meanwhile, nice delay here on the third base of Eurystheus. Antis doing whatever he can. Meanwhile, on the flip side of thing, we of course have Eurystheus trying to force a cancel on the fourth of Antis, and a lot of damage is being done. Yo, cancel? Ooh, just in time. God, that was so close, but nicely done by Eurystheus. Able to keep the economy in check of Antis, but this is what I'm worried about. Because Antis, he's up to almost 70 drones. I believe he is done. Fourth base will be nice for Larva, but mate, 1-1 is about to finish up. Glial's about to finish up. He's going to be making nothing but roaches, and he's going to be sending it across the map. Let's go. And this roach push is going to be deadly. It's all about the positioning here. So far, some decent positions with these tanks, right? One on the high ground, one on the low ground. What do we lack though? We lack bunkers. Again, bunkers would be great. Eurystheus, even though he saw the roaches, he doesn't necessarily feel threatened when I feel like he should. Especially because he's like canceling fourth bases. Because of that, he's forcing the hand of Antis even more. Here we go. Queen Roach Ravager march across the map. Eurystheus needs to realize what's happening. Meanwhile, we have a changeling that sees everything, and Antis has got to be feeling so good right now. Again, only 2 tanks. About to be 3. Oh, but they're so bunched up, so vulnerable to Biles. Meanwhile, the Roach Ravager tries to come in at multiple angles here. It looks like the Bio is holding on for now. Oh, he's getting on top of the Ravagers. The focus fire, every single Ravager goes down. Beautifully done there by Eurystheus. Meanwhile, one of the tanks was a little bit exposed, but it looks like Eurystheus has enough to hold. Again, the focus fire was insane there. The Ravagers never got close enough to bile those tanks, and you could argue that maybe Antis could have engaged better, especially because he saw the position, he saw the army, he had a changeling there, he saw everything. Having Ravagers come in from the south to snipe those tanks would have been huge. Unfortunately, it was not the case, and Eurystheus, he holds, and now he's got some momentum, right? He survived the initial wave, he can focus on the next push, 2-2 is on the way, it's not done yet, but once it does kick in, like, there will be an amazing timing for our Terran. Speaking of timing, he does have to be careful. Pushing deep into creep, trying to clean up what he can. Antis continuing to drone up. Now he's forced to transition into Ling Bane. The era of the Roach Ravager has come and gone. Now we need that Ling Bane Ling. Oh boy, but here we go. 2-2 should finish up by the time this army gets across the map. So again, a very nice timing. He kept the majority of his tanks alive, only lost one of them. Like, this is a very powerful push by Eurystheus. Oh, and Baneling's speed is nowhere near done. Oh no, the Banelings are going to be waddling in, but will they ever connect? The tanks are going to make sure that's not the case. Here we go. Biles do rain upon the battlefield, but they don't connect with anything. Oh god. Tanks slowly leapfrogging forward. You see a bit of a scan. Eurystheus again encroaching upon the bases of Antis. What is important though is that Antis is buying a lot of time. Baneling speed is now almost done. He just has to wait. Just has to wait a little bit longer for that to kick in. But the longer he waits, the closer Eurystheus comes. So here we go, he's trying to chase down Ling Bane. One more second. One. Let's go. Baneling speed finishes, and now the Banelings crash into the Marines. We see a full 360 surround. Every single tank goes down, and Antis is able to defend. Oh my god. At the same time, we have a massive Ling run by at the third base of Eurystheus. He kept nothing at home. There was no bunkers. The tanks are exposed as well. At least one will get picked off. Suddenly, everything turns in favor of Antis. He took an amazing fight in the middle of the map, and at the same time, he was also able to counterattack and cripple the economy of Eurystheus. Meanwhile, once again, he's unsieged! He's unsieged! There's no splits whatsoever. Instead, he just takes all the Banelings to the face. The tank goes down. What I will say is that there is no anti-air, so the medevac count is pretty high. Maybe too high. Hopefully Eurystheus doesn't make any more medevacs. He doesn't need them. He needs a buyer. He needs tanks. Oh god. Meanwhile, I'm sure Antis has realized, mate, I could do with some anti-air. What do I need? I need a hydrogen. I need some hydras of my own. And they are going to be on the way here. Meanwhile, Antis, no. Not like this. You're winning, puppy. You're winning. Please. As unfortunately, looks like Antis is having some internet issues, but he is back. He has returned. And Eurystheus, mate, I just don't know if he's ever going to be able to expand. I don't know if he's ever going to be able to take a fourth base. Oh boy, but he is going to try. Let's go. The Marine, the buyer, the tanks, he's pushing up into creep once again. Is able to siege up this time. The Lings, they try to catch the tanks. Oh my god, the Marines just leave them exposed. One tank immediately does fall. Oh, but only one, thankfully. Thankfully for Eurystheus. And Antis knows he cannot hold this location. He gives up the base, evacuates immediately over towards the south. And at the same time, a Baneling run by does hit the third once again. This is still a very terrifying army. Again, 2-2 bio. Oh god, Antis, I don't know if you want to be pushing in here, buddy. The Biles do get a lot of medevacs though. Oh my god, and he's coming in again. The Biles, they didn't just get the medevacs, they also got a couple of tanks. And with that, Antis backs off. He has a couple of hydras. He can now add some anti-air. Ultra Cavern's on the way, but again, maybe he's being a little bit too greedy, trying to go for the Hive, Ultra Cavern, and all these 3-3 upgrades when he needs an army. Antis very far down in supply. Again, and this is the power of Bio, of Terran on this map. He takes out one base, he can go straight for the other. Meanwhile, Biles are going to be connecting on the tanks, but what about the Marines? All the Banelings get used up. There are only a couple of Banelings left. Is this going to be enough to hold on? Oh god, Antis is trying so hard. He's been trading so well. I'm impressed with how he's been trading, not gonna lie. Just barely holding on every single time. Here we go, the final engagement. Viper's coming out. Blinding Cloud. Ooh, goes for the powerbomb instead. Biles to connect just barely. It looks like the tank will go down. The Banelings want to find their connections. Can they get it? The tank falls before the tank shot goes off. But the Marines still survive. Oh my god, and they're getting on top of the Banelings! And this could be it. The Viper gets focused down. The Banelings get focused down as well. They will not complete. But he just needs to buy more time as the Ultra pops out. The Hero Ultra! Oh my god, it will go down, but it bought so much time. The Ravagers, the Lings, they're dealing so much damage here. And due to that Ultra, Antis was able to gain some momentum, gain a foothold, and Eurystheus is forced back. Oh my god! The tank was sniped in the medevac! The Queens! Yo, that powerbomb earlier actually came into play hard. I was worried that he needed a blinding cloud instead, but mate, the powerbomb was the way to go. Meanwhile, another tank goes down. We still have a lot of bio here, and we still don't have any Banelings. Oh, but we have 28 Lings on the way. 28 Lings are exactly what Antis needs right now, alongside all these Ultras, and there is no answer to the Ultras. To be fair, it doesn't have kindness plating, but it doesn't even matter. GG gets called, and Antis takes the series 2-0. He does it. Ah, GG. Well played. Congratulations, Antis, as he takes the series and moves on to a qualifying match. Meanwhile, Eurystheus, I do think that he did perform much better there in game number 2 compared to game 1. Game 1 felt like he was warming up a little bit, like there were a lot of little mistakes, that added up. Game 2 was a lot more solid, but we saw the same thing happen where we saw a big engagement between the two armies, and we didn't see too many splits from Eurystheus. Like, the Banelings, when they did connect, boy did they connect, you know, like there were just massive detonations, massive explosions there, connections with the Banelings on those Marines, and it was devastating. On top of that, I also have to praise Antis with his Ravager control. Every single bile counted. From what we saw, you know, tanks would go down, medevacs would go down, liberators as well. Despite having very little anti-air, I was very impressed with how Antis was able to deal with the mass amount of liberators and medevacs. Crazy. But with that, GG, and I should probably report the score.